Hi, friends. Welcome back. So we got to talk about this. Trump has a GoFundMe, and if you haven't been following the story, he lost a judgment in New York. And in fact, I wasn't even going to talk about it on the channel because I just get Trump fatigue. However, you got to talk about this thing because it's so bizarre. Yes, this is a GoFundMe for Trump. Says stand with Trump, fund the $355 million unjust judgment. But you got to get this. The person running the campaign, or organizing, I guess you could say, is Elena Cardone. And if you're wondering, is it related to Grant Cardone? The answer is yes. Yes, it is. There's Elena right there. So the wife of Grant Cardone is running a GoFundMe for Donald Trump to pay for his legal fees. And let's just read the headline of this thing again. They're up to $600,000 in 3 days. It says, my name is Elena Cardone. I am the wife of Grant Cardone, mother and ardent supporter of American values and advocate of justice, or for justice, that is. I stand unwaveringly with President Donald Trump in the face of what I see as unprecedented and unfair treatment by certain judicial elements in New York. So she also says the recent legal battles he faces are not just an attack on him, but an attack on the very ideals of fairness and due process that every American deserves. So if you want to read the rest, you certainly can. I just had to read a little bit for you to see, like, okay, what's going on here. And this is actually really funny because the reason why I have to make this is that there's an issue is this something that would go under GoFundMe's terms of service? So I was looking into literally the terms of service right here. So this is GoFundMe webpage. It says GoFundMe terms of service. And if you scroll down, it actually shows you all the things that you can't do on GoFundMe. And it's number 9 right here. Let me blow it up. Number 9, keep this in mind, the legal defense of alleged financial and violent crimes. So this is interesting because we're not even talking about alleged. We're talking about financial crimes. I'm talking about the New York judgment. And we're also talking about legal defense. So I'm not quite sure how this is flying through GoFundMe's terms of service. When you ask GoFundMe, because people said, hey, what's going on? They responded like, yo, it's okay. I mean, honestly, I think what's going on GoFundMe is like, did you see how much money they're raising and we get a cut of that? I mean, are you serious? Are we really going to cancel this? I feel like, this is sort of when people really lose their integrity because of money. That it is a real thing, right? And, their eyes are big. And one of the things that I was thinking about as well is, do we know that the money is actually really going to go from the Cardones to the Trumps? Because I don't know if they're under any obligation to do so. The other issue, too, I was thinking about with this as well is, are there campaign finance laws that would cover this kind of stuff? It's weird, the whole thing, because it's just talking out loud with you guys. Like we have campaign finance laws, for a reason to where like a certain individuals can only give so much money per campaign, and then what happens is that politicians to get around the laws essentially is they form these PACs, political action committees, and then you can give like unlimited money. And then you have the other issue is like, are corporations individuals or not, etc. I mean, there's just all these things. And then now we're talking about, because you could make the case it's not a campaign donation, it's a legal fund donation, but that's where you go to the GoFundMe terms. And I'll just give you some general ideas. It's kind of interesting of like what's against the terms. It says here, without limiting or foregoing, you agree and represent warrant covering. Okay. Not the use of service to raise funds or establish or contribute to any fundraiser with implicit or explicit purpose of promoting or involving. So meaning that you can't do any of these things. So here's some of the stuff you're not supposed to do on GoFundMe. Violation of any law, regulation, industry requirement, third-party guidelines. Okay, so don't break any laws, I guess. Including those of payment card providers, transaction processes. Okay. Fundraisers that are fraudulent, misleading, inaccurate, dishonest, or impossible. That's a funny one. Impossible. Is okay, so it wouldn't fall under that. Offensive, graphic, perverse, sensitive, or sexual content. I mean, you can decide what you think about Trump with that, but for the state of the legal fund, let's say no. Funding of a ransom, human trafficking, exploitation, vigilantism, bribes, or bounty. No, not really. Drugs, narcotics, steroids. No, not really. Activities involved with, in, or involving countries, regions, governments, or persons or entities that are subject to U.S. or other economic sanctions. So that's kind of an interesting one. The reason why I mentioned that is because is a fine, a sanction, but this is more involving countries or regions. So no, I guess it's okay there. Knives, explosion, ammunition, firearms. No, can't do that with GoFundMe. What about this one? This is kind of a fun one. User content that reflects insights, promotes behavior that we deem in our sole discretion. So you get this. So this is where GoFundMe, in their sole discretion, to be abuse of power or in support of terrorism, hate, violence, harassment, bullying, discrimination, terrorist financing, or intolerance, abuse of power relating to race, ethnicity, national origin, religious affiliation, sexual orientation, sex, gender identity, gender expression, disabilities, or diseases. I think number 8's an interesting one because, if you want to take this a political route, you could make the case that Trump is against some of these things, right? Or people who are involved with this stuff. You say, well, I donate this money because I don't want people to have different types of gender identities, etc. So that's an interesting one. Now, to be fair though, the GoFundMe is limited. Well, according to this, is just to fight the New York campaign. But I'm saying, in terms of just in general, if you want to do a GoFundMe for a political thing, it's up to their discretion whether or not it would pass this stuff. And you guys know who Trump is, and it's just, I'm not just making random stuff up, and some of the kind of the issues that he fights for, etc. I don't want to make this necessarily just all about the politics, because it's not. It's about, is this number 9, is this a legal defense of an alleged financial or violent crime? I mean, I think the answer is obviously yes, but there's just too much money involved in GoFundMe's kind of bending the rules when it's literally in their terms of service that the money shouldn't go for that kind of thing. What else do we have here? User content that reflects hurting yourself. Nah, it does not really. Publication of mugshots or cause of reputational harm. That's an interesting one. No, but not really. It doesn't involve gambling. No. Aggregation of funds owed to third parties, factoring or other activities intended to obfuscate the origin of the funds. So that's an interesting one. Because the Cardone is a third party, right? It's not Trump himself who is doing the own GoFundMe. It's Cardone, and I'm just being honest with you guys. I mean, the Cardone people aren't really the most trustworthy kind of people out there in the world. So to give you an example of it, true story. Grant Cardone this is on January 11th, is currently suing the T-Mobile CEO guy for a $100 million defamation suit because he's saying, the T-Mobile CEO said bad things about me, and therefore I'm going to sue him for $100 million. And for real, this is real. And this is what the and the T-Mobile CEO, he's legitimately got a lot of money, and he's basically calling out Cardone. It's like, this dude's a fraud, and this is his own word. So in particular, there was a Testy social audio clubhouse last June. Laguerre called Cardone the biggest bull artist on the planet, and also you're an effing con man. I'll say this on this room right now. I believe that in next year, Grant Cardone will be found to be guilty of fraud. pretty mean words here. By the way, he's not a billionaire. Again, this is from the T-Mobile CEO about Grant Cardone. He doesn't have close to $1 billion, and he is somebody who is self-promoting. And if you go to the world of CNBC, CNN, go to the world, ask about Grant Cardone, he doesn't exist. So that's pretty harsh words. And Grant Cardone's like, I will sue you. And, I guess his wife should do a GoFundMe for that. Help fund the legal case. Now, let's go back to these GoFundMe terms. So this third party thing, who knows, right? I think that's an interesting one. Because again, the question is, does this fit in GoFundMe's term of service? Or if you're going to uphold your own, rules essentially on these things. Can it go to annuities, investment loans, equity, lottery contracts? Nah, it doesn't really cover this particular one. GoFundMe, receipt of grant of cash advances or lines of credit to yourself or another person or purposes other than purposely clearly stated in the fundraiser or the credit repair of debt settlement services. So that's interesting. So here they're saying basically is the money when you give it to said thing, is it really going to what you say it's going to go to? So that, I think that people could get in trouble for this kind of thing. And you're talking about the Cardones here, so who knows? Counterfeit music, movie software? Nah, probably not. Products or service directly infringe facility, infringement upon trademark? No, it doesn't really mention it. Unauthorized sale of goods? No. Here's one right here, number 19. Any election campaign in an unsupported country unless run by a registered organizer within a supported country. So it does mention campaigns, but they're talking about other country kind of things. It's interesting what's in their own terms is. Here's another one. The collecting of payments on behalf of merchants, no, not really. Collecting or providing of funds or any purpose other than described in the fundraising description. So they kind of say that a couple times. And I think that's where the Cardones could get in trouble. Here's another one. Any other activity that GoFundMe may deem in sole discretion to be unacceptable or objectionable, etc. So if GoFundMe wanted to shut this thing down, they could do it. It's in their terms of service right there. Moreover, Trump could, by his own was it volition or his own power, could certainly pay back the New York loan, or not loan, the New York fine, if he sells enough cards. You guys can see this here. These are trading cards. This is old news. But if you haven't seen the latest one, he's trying to sell you $399 gold shoes. I guess he did sell some of these. It says there were 1,000 of these. I guess they sold out. If you still want to get your Trump shoes, this is POTUS 45 or the T Red Wave. So I guess Trump Red Wave 45. Those are $199. Trump also has perfume cologne for $99. It's just kind of funny. I guess this is kind of his sexy look there. And then this is his other one, the Victory 47 perfume. That's his thing. And you buy 2 more, you get 5% off. There he is holding the shoes. If you don't believe it, I'm not making this stuff up. This is all real. The other thing too I want to mention with this stuff, because there's always something that's crazy about it, is I talked about the Tucker Carlson thing because it's all related, guys. And that he interviewed Putin, etc. And if you don't know, Tucker lately, and there he is, he's still in Moscow. He's been doing pro-Russia pieces. I mean, for real. So one was he interviewed Putin, and now he's doing pro-Russia pieces, and he was saying like, Moscow's awesome, and New York City's crappy. They got rats there and homeless people and stuff like that. And basically saying, hey, Moscow's better. And then he takes a tour of the subway in Moscow and says how awesome it is. Okay, and then it was actually, if you want to know particularly, it was Kievskaya. And moreover, I guess he went to the Moscow grocery, which I watched a little bit of that. You can find the stuff if you really want to see it. And then he went to a Russian McDonald's. And again, both of these are pieces saying that Russia is much, much better than USA and awesome. The thing that's so odd about, and I'm tying all this stuff together, is generally speaking, and sort of why I'm bringing this up is as a whole. One is just don't get involved with these kind of things, be it the Cardones or the Tucker Carlsons or the Putins or the Trumps. That's just my opinion on this stuff. I feel like our whole U.S. culture at the moment is just a big clown show. It's hard to take any of this stuff seriously. And I don't care for either party, guys. If it doesn't matter which party it would be. If Cardone is supporting, whatever Democratic candidate, I would, make a video about this because this is so bizarre, this whole thing. Or if there was a Democrat, candidate that was like selling gold shoes. And if there is, please let me know. We'll do a video on it. It's funny to talk about this stuff. I would totally talk about it. I mean, this is, so ridiculous. But the key one for me, though, that really stands out in talking about this whole thing is I just feel like GoFundMe is bending the rules because their eyes are lighting up green. Because we just literally look for the rules. And I think number 9 is the big one, but there are other things in here to where, because the question is, does it violate their own terms of service? And I would say yes. So that's my opinion on that one. Share your thoughts as well. And what do you think? Are they going to reach the 355 million? And will the Cardones actually indeed give the money to Trump? So thanks again for watching, everyone. And I'll catch you next video.